Hey, board gamers, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here, back with another episode of Gumbo Live, the #1 Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming. The #1 show, of course, Alex. It's still the only Facebook Live show dedicated to board gaming, but hey, we're going to hold on to that as long as we can. I got a special guest tonight. I think I have a special guest tonight. Let me get rid of this thing and see. Yeah, we've got Alex Goldsmith from the Dukes of Dice, the web slinger himself, Spider-Man. And Alex is the chief noisemaker at Gray Fox Games and apparently also a superhero in costume. It's Halloween tonight, right, Alex? And you are in the spirit, man.
Happy Halloween. With great broadcasting power comes great responsibility, BJ.
It does. It does. That's an awesome costume. I'm playing a low-level podcaster, so a video caster. Yeah, that's my costume.
Well, that would put you in disguise because you're not low-level in my book, BJ.
Yeah, right. Thank you. The #1 Facebook Live talk show dedicated to board gaming.
Now, is it also in last place too, simultaneously, if it's the only one?
We're also in last place. Yeah, thank you for reminding me. Hit me up on social media tonight. At Twitter, I'm at @BoardGameGumbo. On Facebook, facebook.com/BoardGameGumbo. And you can always reach me by email at boardgamegumbo@gmail.com. A couple of show notes, Alex, before we begin. On the blog side, which is, let me get this lined up here. On the blog side, which is a proud member of Punchboard Media. Come on up there. Not working, but I'm going to get it now. Proud member of Punchboard Meter. We've been publishing a couple of good spotlights. We did an Essen preview, and you can now check back to see how close we were to some of the hotness. And also, kicking out this week, we have an inside look, spoilers included, Alex, of the new thing from Kickstarter, Legends of Sleepy Hollow from Dice Hate Me Games.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I got permission from Chris Kirkman. The one thing that was missing, and a lot of questions on the comments on the Kickstarter, was what really happens in the game and how does it develop? And Chris said, go for it. As long as you put spoiler free, talk about your plays. I got 5 plays in over this weekend.
Oh,
for chapter 1.
Pretty good.
So yeah. I can't wait till next December. I can't believe the thing I don't like about Kickstarter is I got to wait until next December to get the game. But this game, if you haven't taken a look, it's fantastic. And it actually might be your kind of game. You like Dungeon Dives, right?
It depends. It's all in the mechanics of those. Thematically, it can work. It's just a matter of how it works mechanically.
Okay, so the picture something very streamlined, not fiddly. You don't have to worry about a billion different rules, and it's super thematic. Everything you do in the game makes sense from a thematic standpoint. Feels like old Americana. Feels like very spooky. It's really good. I think it's something you'd at least want to. For you, it'd be a try for sure, and maybe even a buy. So check that out. That's on the blog. So. Our special guest, Alex Goldsmith. It's ridiculous if somebody doesn't know who you are because I don't know why they're watching.
Ridiculous? I don't know if I classify it that.
If they're watching this show,
I see. Okay.
They would know who the Board Game Media is. But go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Sure. It's me, Alex. I'm on the Dukes of Dice podcast. I'm also, as BJ mentioned, chief noisemaker over at Gray Fox Games, which is basically their marketing person. Also, basically do web stuff for them. Whole bunch of roles, wear a bunch of hats, getting ready for Con, PAX Unplugged specifically coming up in a couple weeks here, and a Kickstarter we're launching towards the end of the month.
Yeah,
so say more about at the proper time. Is it the proper time now? Are we at Shill o'clock?
I'm always interested in what's going on with Kickstarter, so tell me what you got going on.
All right, Shill o'clock. All right, now here's the thing. This is seen on video, and I'm gonna preface this that this is the box the game exists in at the moment.
Okay.
It's a prototype.
Wait, you actually have a name on the box.
It says Bushido because that's the name of the game. It's Bushido. And BJ, Steve, anyone who's listened to the Dukes, what is my favorite game of all time?
Let me see. It would be that one with the gears.
No, not
clock.
Nope, I know what you're getting at. It's not that one. Nope, try again.
I'm going to guess it's going to be Baseball Highlights 2045.
It is.
Okay.
This game is not designed by Mike Fitzgerald. It's designed by a guy, Pedro P. Mendoza, first-time designer. But what's super, super cool about it is it has mechanics similar to Baseball Highlights. Yeah, okay. Steve O'Rourke weighing in. Even though he's my arch nemesis and rival, at least he's got his facts right. Good job, Steve. These are some of the cards from Bushido. Now, the art's not final. The layout's not final. None of this is final. But Bushido is a 2-player duel to the death You are going to draft technique cards, basically train yourself up with cards from different schools. So you got that's the Air School, this card right here, Air School. This is the Shadow School right here.
Okay.
We've got Earth, which you saw a little bit of before.
Nice, nice.
Fire.
This is final artwork?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay. Oh, not. Okay.
By no means. Now, the closest thing to final might be this card, which is another Shadow School card.
Okay.
That's Tashabishi technique. That's but yeah, that's closest to final. Some of this stuff is closer to final than others, but yeah, that's where we're at. And then there's a water card for you.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, as you can tell, some of the backgrounds aren't quite there yet. Yeah, these are definitely prototype cards. So it's a 2-player duel to the death. You're going to draft 5 of these. You and your opponent each draft 5 of these to kind of form the technique pool you're going to go into the fight with. There's 30 some odd cards. You'll have 5 in each hand. They all work in different ways. They trigger in different ways. With those cards, you're then going to play them to build dice.
Okay.
A pool of dice that you're going to roll head-to-head against your opponent. And you're attacking and defending at the same time. So you're defending your opponent's hits and trying to land hits of your own at the same time. You start off with 12 health. First person to go down to 0 loses. The other person wins the duel. That's the gist of it, though. That's the game in a nutshell. Coming to Kickstarter. I think we set that date today. I think it's the 21st. It's the Tuesday before Thanksgiving.
Yes, and it's either that Tuesday. No, the following Tuesday you'll be on the show, and hopefully by then you guys will be funded, and you'll be talking about some stretch goals. So you have anything in mind?
If it's not funded, you'll see a shirtless Duke Alex because I will have had to sell all my clothing because I had gotten fired.
No, you're gonna have the marketing all live and done. I guess you guys are gonna have some exciting stretch goals by then. We'll know what's gonna happen. Is that something you can bleed out yet, or not ready?
Yeah, we're a little premature on that because we're just. And I'll put it this way: this is kind of a Gumbo close to exclusive because I haven't talked about this game on the Dukes yet. I haven't had anyone else talk about it, and it's coming out in a press release. The press release for this is going to go out tomorrow. The page for the game is going to go out on our website tomorrow. So y'all are ahead of the rollout. So the select few. But it's so here's the thing. I'm getting paid by them, right? So take anything I say with a grain of salt. But baseball highlights is my jam. And this kind of takes a lot of what's going on with that one mechanically and puts it into a dueling samurai fight. And it's awesome. It's thematic. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, so Kickstarter coming out in November. Will we have copies in hand in time to do a Bushido tournament at Dice Tower Con?
Maybe. I don't know what we're setting the exact delivery date on for that. It would be super cool if we could. My guess is, I could probably scrounge up enough prototypes that we could play some form of it at Dice Tower Con. Yeah, why not? But here's the thing, Michael will be offended if I do that because we'll have ditched baseball highlights to do a Bushido tournament.
We can't ditch baseball highlights.
No, he's gonna be offended. I can't go that way.
But Max has to defend his championship. Oh, that's right. He didn't win this year. He didn't even show up.
He slept in. Yeah, he slept a little too long. He's referring to Max Wagner from the New Mexico Gaming Group, who had won the first time we did that tournament, took the title home, and then slept in too much and didn't show up to Dice Tower Con. Well, he was at Dice Tower Con, I should say, but he wasn't at that tournament. And your son took it home, man. He is a gamer for sure.
He enjoyed it. He is a gamer. Hey, BJ from Board Game Gumbo here with Gumbo Live, another episode, a special Halloween themed episode, as you can see from Alex Goldsmith's costume. And of course,
this is my daily outfit. I don't know what you're talking about costume.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize Gray Fox.
No, I'm ripped, man. Look at that. Yeah,
I'm impressed. He's the chief noisemaker of Gray Fox Game and also Dukes of Dice. One more little thing. What's going on with the Dukes of Dice? You guys have gone bi-weekly now, but you do have an episode. It's a bi-weekly podcast that has weekly episodes.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, hey, if you get flown out to Vegas, you're going to do an episode for that, BJ.
I totally agree.
Especially having both of us in the same room, which we hadn't been for a few months.
And that's a perfect segue to go on to what you guys just did. I know that you guys talked about it on the podcast that dropped this week, but I'm sure there's some things you didn't get to talk about in that limited format. So let's remind everybody who you are. You're the guy on the bottom, not the one on top.
I'm not Alexander Pfister. That's correct. That's the wrong Alex.
No, I did find the right photo.
Hey, there it is.
Okay.
Hey,
So
that costume looks familiar.
It sure does.
Now here's the thing. Wait, do you know what Sean's wearing in that? You know what?
Yeah, I can see. It looks like a steampunk Dukes of Dice from the actual picture.
When he's wearing the top hat and the steampunk monocle, he definitely pulled it off.
You know, I did see that picture on Twitter. I apologize, I didn't put it up, or I could probably find it. But that is a funny picture of you guys with the man, Will Wheaton. Tell us about Will Wheaton. Will
Wheaton's a cool dude. So this was at the VIP party Friday night. It was a costume party, as you can tell from everyone but Will being in outfit. But I guess he didn't feel like dressing up. I don't know.
Christmas lights gave it away. I didn't realize.
I don't know why that. Yeah, well, there's a yellow one in there. It's not all Christmas. Come on.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
It was fun though. We approached him just to say hi and thanks for what he does, and got into a conversation then, which was a really nice start. He talked to us and we'd talk for like 5 minutes, and then he'd get tapped on the shoulder, turn around, take a photo with someone, and then continue talking with us. So. A legitimate board game celebrity, probably the foremost board game celebrity. It's either him or Rich Sommer. I don't know who you would pick in the celebrity board gaming draft. I'd probably still go with Will Wheaton.
That's the two. Of course, Will Wheaton, as Steve O'Rourke points out, doesn't have his own Wheaties box like you do with room service.
That's right.
Will's got a little way to go, but no, Will. I agree with you. Those two guys are probably the celebrities that we know that play board games. I mean, there's some that do D&D. But on the board gaming side, that's really the two. Maybe, they tell me that, Veronica Mars. Did you ever watch Veronica Mars as a TV show? She also played one of the Disney princesses, but I can't, I'm drawing a blank. But supposedly she and her husband also play board games. But if they do, and I know they've talked about it, they're not really active as Will Wheaton is. So, I mean, he's a legitimate he's a legitimate gaming celebrity, because it's more than just board gaming, but.
No doubt. And I will say this, when you're meeting someone like that, and I've done it in TV news capacities before, you're not sure how that person's going to be. Are they going to be in a rush? Are they going to be phony? What are they going to be? He was talking to us like a gamer would, man. I mean, he was rattling stuff off, talking about how because he's been working on a book, he hasn't been able to play a lot of the new hotness. So we were talking about some of those, some old favorites. If for folks who listen to the episode know, he shares more of Sean's taste than my taste. Right. He's a Zolkin Terra Mystica kind of guy,
right.
Which bummed me out because he has all these awesome accessible titles on tabletop, but it makes sense. I mean, he's a true gamer. There's no doubt, and he's a good dude. I can say this: he's a genuinely good dude.
I found out that there were some New Mexico guys up in Vegas. While you guys were there, I asked, because I know one of them from the Dice Tower Con, and I asked one of them to take a picture of you at the tables. Did you know that?
Oh, really? No, I didn't know that.
I got it right here.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Here's what I'll say. That's pretty funny. I did gamble, and I didn't do well.
Okay.
I played blackjack. Okay. All right. Here's the story that didn't make it on the podcast, and I was trying to remember to tell it, and I didn't tell it.
That's what I'm looking for.
There's a version of blackjack called Busted Blackjack. Have you ever heard of this?
No, I've never heard of that one.
I hadn't heard about it either. So it's effectively like normal blackjack. All of that's the same, except no 10s in the deck. So they pull out all the 10s. Beyond that, there's a bet you can make at the start of every round, a busted bet, that regardless of what your hand does, if the dealer – gambling tips with me, love it. If the dealer busts in 3 cards, you get paid out based on what card they busted with. So if they busted with an 8, you get paid out 6-1 on whatever bet you placed. But they have to bust specifically in 3 cards. If they do it in 4 or more, doesn't matter. If they don't bust at all, that bet loses. So one of those bets, though, on the busted space is if they bust on 3 suited 8s, so 8 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, you win 200-1 on that bet.
Oh, wow.
I had a $5 chip placed there, and there was an 8 of diamonds showing. The person who took the last card, the person on the far end of the table, took a hit. They were supposed to. I think they were at 11, literally. I mean, you can't not take a hit there. And they went to they got an 8 of diamonds. They drew an 8 of diamonds.
Oh.
The card we didn't see from the dealer was also an 8 of diamonds.
Oh, because you saw it come out on the next hand.
It came out immediately. I mean, it came out after he took his card.
Okay,
so we saw 2 8s, and then they busted. I mean, they had to draw the next card, but we were literally 1 card away. I would have won $1,000 right there.
Wow. on a $5 bet, 200 to 1.
Instead, I just lost all my money. So I was down 200 for the trip, which for Vegas, I guess isn't too bad.
And it's called Busted
Blackjack. And Sean looked into the odds, and they're not good. You should play regular blackjack if you're going to play blackjack. Yeah,
those. I'm not a gambler much, but my mom and dad were pretty good gamblers, and they stayed away from the specialty games because that's where the casino gets those odds much closer to the house favor.
Yep.
They've got all the doodads and whiz bangs and all these things that kind of attract you, and then it turns out the odds are terrible. You're better off just sticking with blackjack, straight off blackjack.
Yeah, I would have been. And then I also lost $20 betting on college football as part of all that too.
So you guys talked about the Unrivaled tournament, and kind of shocked a little bit at how serious this was. And I was curious, what's your besides what you guys talked about, all the different things that happened, but what do you think about the impact of this Unrivaled tournament as it comes up?
Here's the thing. I think time will have to tell with that, because it's a question of if this thing is a one and done, if it happened and then they don't bring it back ever again, it probably doesn't do a ton for the hobby and doesn't say a lot of good things for the hobby. But if they can make this a reoccurring thing and make it a successful reoccurring thing, it says a lot about the hobby. It says that the interest is there, that there can be a competitive side of this on a high profile stage. If it works, it's great for the hobby. It has to work. And I think the test isn't the first year you run an event. The test is the second year and years beyond for that event. I think it has the potential to be really good. I don't know. It's hard to tell what kind of impact you have from 1 year of an event. But I will say this, if you're trying to make an impact in 1 year, they dropped $2.5 million on this thing, BJ. $2.5 million on a board game tournament. You could have won $10,000 for you and $10,000 on top of that for your store by winning a King of Tokyo tournament.
Playing King of Tokyo, $10,000.
King of Tokyo, of all things.
You know what? You guys didn't talk about this on the podcast. I'm really curious. You guys talked about the format a little bit, and I may have just missed it. But how many people actually were playing King of Tokyo at the tournament?
I don't know King of Tokyo specifically. If I'm recalling correctly, I think Villagers and Villains was like a 90 person tournament.
I don't know that game.
I didn't know it either. And even having watched the final of it on stage with a judge spelling out everything as it happened, I still don't know that game.
Okay.
Still don't have any clue. It appears to involve some dice rolling and set collection.
Every other game I knew about, but that one I didn't know that game at all.
But I mean, they have a tournament for Munchkin, which is nuts.
Yeah. How many people were in Villages and Villains?
I think it was 90 that they had the tournament. And you had to qualify for these. You had to qualify at a store event to even make it. But I think for a lot of the people there, if not all the people, they paid for your ticket to fly to Vegas, and they paid for your hotel room.
Phenomenal. What hotel was it, by the way?
It was we were staying in the Paris.
Oh,
Sean was pretty bummed. His view was way worse than mine. His view was looking back towards the airport, and my view was looking at the Eiffel Tower.
Oh wow!
And you could see the Bellagio fountains behind that, and the pool in front of that. So I had a more modern room, and I had a better view.
Wait, I thought that it was you, Will, Raquel, and Sean in one room.
Yeah, all in one room. Yep. You would think that Sean and Raquel would have paired up in the betting situation, but no, it was very weird. It was just Sean and I just cuddling the whole night. It was
right. You guys had
pretty nice.
You guys had your own room. How cool was that? You guys getting back together? Wasn't that nice?
Oh, it was great. I mean, and the podcasts tend to go much more smoothly when we're in the same room. And also, I think our patience for one another maybe builds up a little bit over time. So,
you know what's weird is even if you hadn't said it, I could tell that you guys were in the same room. There was that crackle, you know?
Yeah.
Not that it doesn't happen on the regular podcast, but I think there is something about being in the same room, you know?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if it were a situation that we could make it happen, we would be in the same room. It's a preference to do that. I think broadcasts in general tend to do that. Some of the first ones we did of that, we turned off the webcams to try and boost the bandwidth of the recording. And when you turn off the webcams, you might boost the bandwidth, but you lose something in that connection. So even keeping the cam on makes it a little better face-to-face, but there's that just slight technological delay that makes a true back and forth in the in-person way not quite as viable. So
just like in board gaming, just like in my, I love Disney parks, but I'm always fascinated by the behind the scenes. So I know a little bit about how the Dice Tower does it because they talk about it openly. It's not that I've dived into it. They talk about it. How do you guys do it? Are you each recording separate channels and then emailing it to one or the other? How does that work?
Yeah. So Sean, as longtime listeners know, does 80% of the work typically on a show.
Right.
And in that case, that includes editing. So yeah, the way we've done it is it's a Skype call usually, and he is recording on his end both channels separately, and I'm recording my channel as well here as the main feed as it's coming straight off the mic. So it's a better version of that. He then syncs them up and cuts it down, gets it into.
What do you use to record?
In terms of the program?
Yeah.
Audacity.
Okay.
I've used Sound Siphon before. I tend to like to use that for the holding court interviews. But yeah, Audacity is what I've been using of late.
Man, you have been on fire on the holding court interviews. You've pulled in a lot of people lately.
That's been fun, man. I always love doing those, having those nice one-on-one conversations, and it helps when you have a rapport with someone before going into that. You know, I mean, for instance, the Chris Kluwe interview was great. I really enjoyed my time doing that. But when you get someone like Suzanne, who we have such a history with on the show, right, who's been on the show so many times, and you just have a long conversation between friends, I think that hopefully comes across to folks. And even someone like, say, Sarah Erickson, who I've worked with at the Renegade booth and have known for a little while. I mean, those can come out pretty well too.
She is a good guest. I'll tell you, she is a really good guest. I really enjoyed listening to her. Suze, I mean, she's a queen. She's awesome. But I was impressed with Sarah. How much fun she is over the microphone. I mean, it actually, her bubbly personality comes out. So,
and she's that way in person too. I mean, that's who she is. She's high energy and really, really good at what she does. I am not as good at my job as she is at hers. There's no doubt. I mean, there's a reason Renegade's one of, if not the hottest publishers in the hobby space right now.
BJ from Board Game Gumbo, another episode of Gumbo Live. I've got the chief noisemaker of Gray Fox Games and one of the two guys in the Dukes of Dice, Alex Goldsmith. We've been talking a little bit about Vegas. Any other adventures that you guys had? I mean, Vegas is not the place you would think of when it comes to board gaming. There's a lot of other stuff to do, but you ended up actually seeing a couple of people that we know from content creation, right?
Yeah, I do. So Crystal from Board Game Blitz, who's awesome and does an awesome show. Sponsored by Gray Fox Games, just for full disclosure, so folks know that. And
a fine member of Punchboard. No, Dice Tower.
The Dice Tower Network, I'm pretty sure. Don't you try and rope people into that Punchboard thing, BJ. I see how it is.
I threw that up. Yeah, we're just waiting for the Dukes of Dice to join Punchboard Media.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Next, yeah.
You're gonna have to fight Tom for it. If someone can beat up Tom, then you can have us, I guess.
Yeah, true. So yeah, you got to meet Crystal?
I got to meet Crystal, and
we saw her at Dice Tower Con. I don't know if you did, but
yeah, I think I did. I think I did briefly. I don't think I played a bunch of stuff with her there. I think it might have been. Oh yeah, I played something. I think I played Werewords with her and Ambi from that show. We had a Werewords game going, and that was the one where Sean screwed up. Cheetos aren't Cheerios,
right?
Basically, and that takes a longer story than is needed here, but. So yeah, met up with her. She met up with me over at Meepleville, which is the board game cafe in Vegas. And man, that is an awesome spot.
Meepleville?
Meepleville. If you're in Vegas, that is a must stop for gamers. And I don't say that about every game cafe in every town. Meepleville is a must stop. They have an awesome collection.
How does it compare to the one you guys have in New Mexico that you used to go to in New Mexico?
Empire has a great collection. Empire's food I would give, and I didn't actually have Meepleville's food, but just judging off of menu. Empire's food is a little better than Meepleville's. Meepleville's selection of games and how they have them organized probably edges out Albuquerque's, probably edges out Empire's by a little bit. Plus, they have that giant, they call it the world's largest meeple. I don't know if you saw that picture.
No, I didn't see that.
Standing on the doorway.
Wait. Yeah, I saw that little opening that you guys are standing there with the Brothers Murph, right?
That's a giant meeple. Yeah, if you can pull that up, I don't. Yeah, take your time. I'll try and carry on the story as best I can. But
yeah, I'm good.
It's a giant meeple. Really cool to have in there. And the store owner Tim is really knowledgeable. Does stuff with yellow, so is in the industry himself, and just a good dude. Just a really good dude. So yeah, a lot of fun. Met the Brothers Murph. I actually, typical me, not being as savvy on board game media as I probably should be at this point. Not heard of those guys. Not familiar.
Oh no.
No, it was fine. They had a couple people come up and say, "Oh, hey, I love your stuff" to them. So clearly they're a big deal, right?
Well, they do this. I think it's a segment you'd like, so search it out. They do this thrift store finds.
Yep.
So they find a lot of games They find a lot of games that that you like to pick on from the show that you used to
Flip the Table.
Yeah, Flip the Table. I'm sorry, I just drew a blank there, and I apologize to Chris and those guys at Flip the Table. I think it's Chris, right?
Yeah, moderator Chris. Yeah,
moderator Chris. That's right. Flip the Table. They find a lot of games like that at thrift stores, but they've got that just zany, crazy personality that comes right out on their videos. So
they're awesome to play with.
Now look, they're relatively new, as to me at least. I mean, they've kind of popped up in the last couple of months and are part of the Dice Tower now with some of the contributions on Board Game Breakfast. So at least I've only known them in the last 6 months. So
I haven't known them at all. So you're ahead of me.
I wouldn't feel so bad. But those guys, I would imagine, are as crazy as they are on YouTube.
So we played Bushido. They got to play. I had that copy with me, and we played 2-on-2, basically. And they seem to dig that. I don't know. I won't speak for them. I'm not going to put words in their mouth, especially with something I'm plugging.
Right.
But folks there seem to enjoy it. I'll put it that way. Best I could tell. Yeah. Magic Maze. We played Magic Maze, which was frantic fun.
Had you played that at Dice Tower Con? I don't remember.
I did play that at Dice Tower Con and really enjoyed it. It's my favorite of the Spiel crop, closely with King Domino, but it reminded me how good it was. That's a good game. We played Suro, and then we finished it off with Queen Domino, which Blue Orange was at Unrivaled, so we got a couple of copies. They had a copy, and then we had a copy. The Dukes had a copy.
Yeah, Suro, I actually owned it, and then I traded it away just recently. It's a game that I like, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem to go over that well as much as other people like it. I don't know what. I don't know if I'm not teaching it right or just not getting excited enough about it. But
who are you playing it with?
Some pretty, I've tried it with some brand new gamers, and I've also tried it with gamer guys. And I don't know. It's a game where people go for this. This is what I'm trying to say. For this amount of investment of time, it's the kind of game that somebody should go, let's play that again, right? Mm-hmm. It only takes 15 or 20 minutes.
If that, yeah.
Maybe even shorter. And yet, every time I brought it out, I teach the game, we play it, and it's like, okay, what are we going to play next? It's one of those games where, and Suro of the Seas, which I played at Gen Con last year, that one has those extra elements with the pirate ships or something, or I forgot what they are, dragons or pirate ships or something, some other things that come out on the board. And that one I thought would really go over well. I just never picked it up because I don't know why. Suro just fell flat. And I realize that gaming is subjective, so maybe it's just the way I'm teaching it, or maybe it's just the game just doesn't fit with our game group.
It could be. I tend to think that most experienced game groups probably will have some filler preferred to this. And Steve's probably not wrong that it's too quick for how good it looks on the table. What I will say is this. We were playing at the time with a couple of gamers who were in the store. So it was a couple of newer gamers, the three of us from the group, whilst one of the brothers, Murph, was setting up Queen Domino. For that situation, it was great. I mean, it proved kind of tense. And it did the job. It filled the time. And if you look at it as a filler and one that's accessible, really accessible, easy rules filler that looks cool on the table, I think it does the job it needs to do. Is where I tend to fall on that.
But and Steve said in 8 words what I said in about 50, but as usual. But I do remember that the last time we played it with a gamer group, it was one of those tense games where there were 3 people still involved, and there was just a few tiles left, and we all had a shot, and it just depended on who played what. So, right. And that's why I ended up trading it that night to the person that was in the part of the 3. They said, "Oh, I want to take this home." So maybe I'm not giving it as much credit. It's just as he says, it's a beautiful game. And when I got it, I was like, I'm going to love this game. And I love the presentation. It just hasn't been a 9 or a 10 on the BGG scale or a 5 or 6 on the Duke scale,
How many plays of it did you get in the time that you owned it?
I played it probably 5 times, and that's it.
That's not enough. Okay, fair. What I'm not saying is, I'm not saying that, you should have played it more. You would have gotten it. You didn't get it. You didn't play it enough to get it. I'm not saying that.
I'm going to tell
what
you
I'm
right
saying
now,
is, it's fine. I mean, I'm surprised. I'm surprised in that it didn't even hitch, even before that. Because usually Suro is one of those that you play it maybe 10, 15 times. You've got your money's worth or something close to it, and then you can trade it on. But if you played it just 5, then that's saying something about your liking the game for sure.
That might be it. So I played it, according to this, I played it 3 times. So maybe I didn't play it enough. Maybe I just didn't get it.
I don't think it's that.
And it's 3 since I started recording my plays a couple of years ago. So I don't remember if I had it before that. That might be it. But I think Steve's onto something. It's too quick for something so gorgeous. It's a great production, that's for sure. BJ from Board Game Gumbo Live. I got, oh, crap. I think I just lost you there. Oh, sorry about that. BJ from Board Game Gumbo Live.
Great what the heck, man?
Yeah, I've got a special guest here, Alex Goldsmith of the Dukes of Dice. Thank you for joining the show, Alex. I appreciate that, man.
You did it for the half-hour break. It makes sense. We had to reset everything.
I hit the wrong button, as you can tell.
It's like Sports Center. The whole thing's just going to repeat for the next half hour.
That's what it is. It's the reset. It is definitely the reset. So yeah, we talked about some recent gaming that you had. You told me that I played King Domino. I got beat by your buddy Ellison really bad at Tower Com in the 7x7 challenge, which I had never played before. But after that, that's kind of the only way I like to play it. But you got to play Queen Domino, and you said thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh, we're going to review this on the show. And
okay. So you're going to give it a 7 on the 6 Dukes of Dice scale?
Yeah.
I'm going to hold that close to the vest.
There's only baseball highlights that gets that. I won't go anywhere with a score. It's not lower than a 4. I guarantee you that much. It's not lower than a 4. And I've only played it once so far. It does some really cool things with that system. I wasn't sure how different or not different it was going to be. And here's what I love about it. I love that King Domino has these simple, elegant mechanics that you can play with just about anyone and have fun with. And it's quick enough and it's deep enough to get some enjoyment out of. Queen Domino is a slight step up from that and adds enough of a twist to things that it still carries over that enjoyment. But the buildings and the dragon and the queen that it adds in all do enough to create a pretty dang cool situation. The fact that it adds an economy as part of the game.
I'm interested. Out of the 3, so that was one of the 3 in the Spiel des Jahres, right? It was King Domino,
right?
It was Magic Maze, and it was El Dorado. And out of the 3, that's the one that I like the best.
Yeah.
But Queen Domino sounds like something I might be interested in even more because it adds those elements.
It will have more success or more longevity with gamery groups because it makes it feel like more of a gamery game to me. In a good way, in a really good way. I think for King Domino, it's a good entry point. It's a good way to get other people into the hobby, but it's not one I'm going to play over and over and over again. It's not one I'm going to play every game night. Queen Domino, I could see coming out at a decent clip here. It does some really interesting things. And what I really like about it is that you can combine it with King Domino and play 4-player 7x7.
Oh, okay. Oh, that I like because I do like the 7x7 challenge better than the 5x5. Now, speaking of what we just did with Suro, when I broke out Queen Domino with my little, I play with a Scout group, dads. What did I say? King Domino? Yeah. When I played King Domino, I played it with my Scout dads. I played it with my gamer group. And then I also have a couple that like board gaming. And sometimes we get together and we just play 4-player games. They're into board gaming, but not deep into the hobby like we are. They like Pandemic. They like Ticket to Ride. And I'm introducing all these games. Well, I brought out King Domino. And right after playing it, immediately they said, oh, let's play that again. That's what didn't happen with Sora. And that's what I liked about King Domino. It's a game where we typically play it 1 or 2 or even 3 times in a row.
It's a good twist, right? And it's a good sign for a game of that length. I think that's part of the reason I love Matainai so much is it fits perfectly as a best-of-3 series. That game works so well in a best-of-3 series because just one play isn't enough of that. It doesn't feel like enough. You crave another play. So, yeah.
Pinky swear. Let's play. You got to teach me Matainai.
I have to teach you Matainai. Oh, man.
I've never played it.
Oh, man, BJ.
Yeah. It's a Carl Chuddick game.
I've been a fan of this it's a Carl Chuddick. How have you been a fan of the show? It's in both of Sean and I's top 5.
I know. And you guys talked me into playing Baseball Highlights 2045, which was on my radar, but I kind of waited on it because there's a lot of baseball games out there, and I already had bottom of the ninth. And then I played Baseball Highlights 2045 after listening, and I love it. But Matainai's got those multiple use cards that I like. They burn my brain. I'm terrible at them. I'm absolutely horrible at them. But I like playing those games. So if I could get somebody to teach me, I'll play it.
Have you played a Boxcars award-winning game and not liked it?
You'd have to give me the list. So,
oh God,
what's some other ones?
You had to call my bluff, didn't you?
God dang it! Yeah.
Viticulture?
My number 1 game. Yeah. It's been my number 1 game for a long time. Yeah.
Scythe.
Yeah, it is. It's the game that if you ask me what game I'd like to play right now, I'd say Scythe. Even though it's not my number one game, it's the game I always want to play. I'm always ready to play. So it's a 6 for me because that's the one that you never turn down and you always want to play and it's never going to leave your collection. So Scythe. But I like owning Viticulture better. Even though I own both games, I like owning Viticulture better because I can break out Viticulture with any group. Scythe, for some reason, doesn't always hit the mark with people. I don't know why.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Elysium, he's right. Yeah, Steve's right.
That would be a 5 for me or a 6. I don't know. I've played it 4 or 5 times, and I've enjoyed every single play. I absolutely love that game.
Pandemic Legacy.
That's a 6 for you guys? Yeah, that doesn't shock me. Doesn't shock me at all. I'm only on March, so.
Oh, you're early. You haven't gotten to the good stuff yet.
I'm still too early. Well, it's only been since Christmas.
Oh, okay. Jeez.
We got it for the family for Christmas. We played it, and for some reason, it's fallen flat for my wife who loves Pandemic. My 2 boys like it, but it's one of those games where you want the same 4 people to play. I'm finally just going to have to, I think I'm just going to have to finally just ditch Linda, I guess is what way to say it. But I don't want to say it like that because she doesn't care. I don't think she wants to play anymore. So I think we may just have to go 3 players or find another 4th because I definitely want to finish it, or maybe even do it solo. I don't know.
You know what game you wouldn't have that problem with?
What's that?
Charterstone.
Why do you say that?
He has rules baked into it to if a player drops, you can keep playing. From that, doesn't matter.
I thought you were talking about the solo part. Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
it's good.
Interesting. Interesting. Might be one to think about. So yeah, Pandemic Legacy. I would say for me it's at least a 5, maybe even a 6. It's a phenomenal game.
Baseball Highlights is Boxcars.
It's a 6 for me. Yeah.
And Mataina is the only one of those you haven't tried. So all of these are 5s or 6s, and you have not played the one that probably cumulatively is the highest on our lists. If you combined our lists, it has the highest average Dutchie score.
Yeah, you've got. How long is the game? How long does it take? Because you guys always talk about doing 3s.
Yeah, you do that a best of 3 head to head. Don't play with more than 2 when you're learning the game.
So Steve. He says, call it freeing Snow Bunny. Okay, so I can get Snow Bunny out of there by saying, you know what? I know you don't really enjoy it that much. So why don't we just why don't I free you from the obligation?
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
It's good. But Nine is good. It's better when it's taught face-to-face with someone. It just is.
Welcome to another episode of Marriage Counseling from Alex Goldsmith and Steve O'Rourke. I'm your host, BJ from Board Game Gumbo.
You know what the key to marriage counseling is? Being a good marriage counselor.
What is
having
that?
never been married.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. And then dressing like Spider-Man.
That sounds right. I did hear that an old man told me that you have to learn that the man always makes the big decisions in life to be a successful marriage, and to remember that life is full of lots of little decisions. So that was his secret, I don't know if it's true or not, but it does sound important. Life is full of little decisions, and you just make the big ones that never actually come up. So,
oh man,
not bad. BJ from Board Game Gumbo Live, Alex Goldsmith from Gray Fox Games and the Dukes of Dice. I don't know if you noticed, but tonight is a holiday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's Halloween.
It's been pretty quiet here, actually. It is a Tuesday. Tuesday's kind of an awkward Halloween night.
Do you guys trick or treat in St. Louis? Did people come by your place?
I wasn't here when that would have been happening. I came back from work, went out and grabbed some dinner at a Japanese place nearby. It seems quiet. Streets are pretty quiet. Apartments pretty quiet. I don't think there are a ton of kids who live in this loft building anyway.
Okay.
So, and folks who are just walking down the street can't get in the building. So I don't think there's a ton of trick or treating going down.
I am curious if you have any suggestions, because I did some show prep and I have 3 games that I would suggest for Halloween gaming. Do you have any games?
Now, this is gonna be too late unless people are on the West Coast and about to sit down with a group here. Okay, I have one game that I played.
Yeah, it's only 7:39 over there. They're watching the Dodgers-Astros game, which of course I would never do during the podcast.
Dodgers are winning right now. How about that?
I have no idea because I don't have an iPad right next to my computer with the game on.
I just clicked into the next tab. That's what I did. You could be flipping me off, BJ. I wouldn't know. But
the Dodgers are 2-1 right now. It's 2-1 right now. So you were saying, right now on the West Coast, they're getting off work and they're tuning into the show Gumbo Live, and they're like, "What do the Dukes of Dice suggest for Halloween gaming?"
I am not going to speak for Sean. I have two games to suggest.
Oh, really? Okay.
One is Mysterium.
Excellent.
Is that on your list?
No, not on my list. Not on my list.
That's one I'd suggest. Mysterium for sure. It carries that haunted, spooky theme. The ghost player and the creepy mansion fits the bill. Fits the night. Fits the theme to me. And that's a thematic one to play. So Mysterium. Everyone should know that one if they don't already.
I like it. Mysterium, great one. It's got the mechanic where you have one person who can't talk and they're trying to figure out what the crime is, and they're given hints by using Dixit-looking little cards. And I played it a bunch. Actually, my son Matt, it's one of his absolute favorite games. He loves Mysterium, so that's a good choice. I'll make a wager with you. We know we got Steve watching, and if there's anybody else watching, if my three. If Steve or anybody else out there can't name a better game than my three, we'll see who wins tonight. What do you think of that? I'll let you be the judge. Okay,
so you're saying Steve has to suggest a game better than the three you're coming to the table with.
Yep.
And if he loses, he has to shave his head.
I agree with that. Okay. I don't have to worry about that, so I'll take that bet. That would be easy for me. Let's see. Steve likes your choice, though. He says it's an excellent call. If you don't have big gamers in the group, you can go with the Murder Riddles of Black Stories for a party.
I've not played the expansion yet, so I'm not familiar with that.
I have not played it yet either. So, Mysterium. And you own the original game, or do you own the American version?
It's the only time I've owned two copies of a game. I bought the Polish version at Dice Tower Con the first time I played it because it was sort of the one that they reviewed for the show. It was missing a couple cards, and Jason from the Dice Tower was like, just send him a message. I'll get you the replacement cards. Never happened. So it's a not complete Polish edition of it. And then when I saw how much of an upgrade some of the U.S. components were, I got the U.S. version too. Because I could.
So there is a significant difference between the two in terms of component quality.
I mean, like the Dixit style art cards are the same, and I like some of the art style of the Polish version better. But for instance, the big DM screen, that you have with
the sliding little inserts,
that's way better. It doesn't exist in the Polish version. It's really a necessary component and a pretty good one. And just some of the other mechanics that come in the clock that ticks down. No, that was one where I felt I needed to own both, and I'm not usually that guy, but this was an exception.
And Steve says the globes are different?
Yeah, he's correct. The globes that come in that game are different.
All right, here's my first one, and then we'll go to your second one, okay?
Let's do it.
I'm going to throw this one up. It's a stronghold game, and it's got a spooky theme, but not
Flamme Rouge.
No, not Flamme Rouge. The spooky bicycle game. So it's not going to be. These are non-traditional choices. I mean, I could have just gone with every Arkham horror game they have, right? And you did the same thing. You went with something mysterious, but not necessarily Call of Cthulhu. So it's a stronghold game that you've played, and the game involves if you set it up right.
I know what you're talking about. I think
a spooky type of sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I thought you were going to go with Terraforming Mars. I'm sorry.
How is Terraforming Mars spooky?
Oh, maybe Fuji Flush? Was it Flush trying to get at?
No. Not alone. So it's one versus many. It's if you set it up right, and I think it's important to teach it this way. It's not just one person against everybody. It's the planet trying to subsume some astronauts who've crash landed on this planet. A la Alien. I mean, is there a scarier movie than Alien or Aliens? Two movies I know at the top of your I've seen already list, right?
I've seen neither, so
I had no idea. I'm just throwing it out there.
That it?
No, I mean, let's face it. It's a good bar bet to pick an '80s movie and just assume that Alex hasn't seen it. I had no idea if you've seen it. You've probably mentioned on the podcast. I just don't remember.
Not seen it. Not seen any of the Alien movies, and I'm not usually a scary movie kind of guy anyway. So, okay, not my deal.
You played Not Alone. You liked it. Think about this.
And thematic, perfect. No, it's a good choice.
You got the alien music in the background, and you've got a good scary movie. Okay, good. So that's a good choice. Steve, you're in trouble because my first choice came right out of the bat. All right, so Alex, your second choice. What's your second game?
So you were just slamming kind of the typical Halloween game, Call of Cthulhu kind of style.
Uh-oh.
Mansions of Madness.
Okay. Sorry.
Mansions of Madness.
I didn't see your list, so I had no idea.
Well, I didn't send it to you, so that's fair.
You didn't put it on the show notes.
Just slam your guest. I see how it is. BJ.
Dang it. All right, so for those people who haven't played Mansions of Madness, second edition, I'm assuming, tell us about it.
Mansions of Madness is an app-assisted game. You are playing through some sort of story or campaign. It is it's sort of that Arkham horror theme. It's the Lovecraftian style. That's what I was trying to get at. Cthulhu. There are elder gods who might come and fight you. There are cultists who might come fight you. And you go and explore the map. You try and solve a mystery, find enough clues to escape or whatever the scenario references. Some of these scenarios are like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Some of these are like 5-6 hour scenarios to get through.
Wow.
It's a lot of fun, and it is very, very, very thematic. Very thematic.
Can I give you my sad clown story?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So our game group got Mansions of Madness second edition.
Right.
The guy that got it brought it over. I was 5 minutes late to game night. So Gumbo game night starts at a certain time. 5 minutes late. Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay. Hang on a second.
5 minutes late. I'm sticking with 5.
I think we're doubling or tripling that number.
I'm sticking with 5. So I was late. They started the game. I ended up not being able to play it. I went over to the other table and I think I played 3 or 4 Gray Fox games in a row.
Is that right?
As I recall. So ding. So as they're watching, but the whole time I'm playing these massively successful Gray Fox games, I kept looking over my shoulder and I'm watching. They threw it up on the big computer because it doesn't just go by the iPad or the iPhone.
No, you can project it.
They had it on the big computer, and I'm just watching them, and it's killing me. I'm like, God, this game looks so good.
It's good. So
it's good. Right after that, guy moves to Iowa. It was probably like 3 months later, but for purposes of the story, it was the next week. He moves to Iowa, takes the game with him.
I'm starting to think this wasn't actually Mansions of Madness second edition.
And I never got to play Mansions of Madness. 5 minutes late, and he leaves that night and flies to Iowa with the game, and I never get to play. So sad. That's a sad story, right, Alex?
You should get around to it. It's good. It is as good as it looks.
But it's sad, right, Jerry? I mean, it's a sad story, right?
Jerry, yeah.
All right, that's a Seinfeld reference. Sorry. So Steve O'Rourke has one. It's now your turn, Steve. Let's see if you can beat Not Alone.
Beat the Quizmaster. Oh, Not Alone specifically? Is that where? Okay.
Well, it's, how do you want to do this? You want to hear all?
No, you're going back and forth. No, you're going back and forth. Yeah. Okay. You each get 3 shots at this. So Not Alone versus what? Gloom.
I haven't played Gloom, but I watched the tabletop episode with some guy from what is his name? Like he was in a Star Trek show a long time ago. Will Wheaton. That's right.
Yeah, I know.
So I watched Gloom, and actually it looked pretty cool. I like storytelling games, and I like the way that Will and whoever the 3 people he had on the show, they really hammed it up with their ability. Yeah. So let's see what Steve says. He says, love the Edward Gorey style artwork. Who can make their family of 4 the most miserable before they kill them off wins the game. Plus, it did the clear card overlay thing before Mystic Vale and a couple other card crafting games have come out. What do you think about Gloom? Have you played Gloom?
I played Gloom once, and if I'm picking which one's the better game, I would probably go Not Alone versus Gloom. I like Not Alone. However, the criteria is best Halloween themed game, correct?
Spooky. Best spooky game.
Whoa. Okay.
Spooky or Halloween?
Okay, so if I'm thinking about Halloween in the campy monster kind of Addams Family style of Halloween,
or scary space alien,
I'm getting there. Then obviously he has an edge. Here's what I think it is. I think both of you are close. I would maybe give the slight thematic edge to Gloom, just a slight one. But the Not Alone itself is such a better game than Gloom, at least from my limited playthrough of it. No, I'm gonna have to give. I'll give that round to you, BJ. I'll give that round to the host. Not alone round one.
All right, take that, Steve. All right, so but it's close. These were two good choices.
Yeah, no, I like that selection thematically. Thematically, it's a better fit, just barely than Not Alone is.
And I think you, with your first pick, what was your first one? Was
Mysterium.
Yeah, Mysterium. I think you've got the best end of the Mysterium is probably a great Halloween night. So first round would probably go to you. But between me and Steve,
but I'm not in the competition. I'm already so good at this. I can't be.
Well, your second pick was amazing. So Mansions of Madness. So let's go with my second pick. I don't have a picture for this one. I forgot to post it up, but I'll tell you about it. And in fact, I was going to go get it downstairs, and I just didn't bring it up. So this is a game that's not spooky at all from that standpoint. So. But it's got spooky elements to it. It's a dice chucking game. It's called My Village. Have you played My Village?
I have not played My Village. I am really curious how this is going to go here.
All right. So in My Village, you start out, and again, you have to set this up right. On a normal, Wednesday night Gumbo game night, it's not going to work. But you've got the mood lighting, you've got the darkness in there, you've got the pumpkins. Each year, as you create your village, and you go around building it out, think like Charterstone. You're building out your village with cards, but each year, Father Time, who is represented by the Grim Reaper, follows you just waiting. And as your meeples go all the way around the clock, when you get back and you cross over, the Grim Reaper actually gets on top of your meeples and follows you along. And at the end of that turn, he kills one of your villagers and you send them to the burial grounds. So I've got Grim Reaper, I've got burial grounds, and I've got death. I can't think of anything spookier than those three things.
Oh boy, Steve! If of the two you have remaining, if one of them is weaker than the other, I would use the weaker one right now.
Oh my god! Wow. Okay. It may be a stretch. But if you go to Board Game Gumbo, you'll check out my scary village from last year, and you'll see I think I made an excellent case as to how spooky My Village is.
A spooky Euro. You're killing me.
And that's another Stronghold game. Bonacor
owes me some money. Yeah, you're getting on me about pimping stuff. What is going on?
Bonacor owes me some money on that one.
Oh man. All right, Steve's turn if he's got one ready.
I don't know if he has one ready. No, you cannot.
Yeah,
you
sure
cannot say
can.
that. No, you can't because that's my third choice.
And he wins.
He cannot say that one. No, you cannot say that one because that's my third choice. And I've locked in my votes. You got to go with something else.
Did you tell him ahead of time that Legend of Sleepy Hollow was one of your picks?
I did not. I should have.
Okay, then here's my ruling on this. Are you ready?
Yes.
He was not properly informed that you had locked in 3 specific games.
Is this game court? Is this what this is?
Yeah, he said it first. He properly stole it from you. Steve properly stole this from you.
Man. Wow.
This is a clutch move, Steve. That was brilliant. That was well done.
Didn't you tell him that he was supposed to go with his weakest one? I mean, that's like a home run. He
is my arch nemesis and rival, but I got to give him props. That was not yet, Steve. Wait, not yet. Because this is a best of 3, and you just even the series. This ain't done yet. But here's the advantage you have. BJ now has to, on the fly, come up with a spooky game and sell that as a spooky game.
Spooky stockbroking
which, by the way,
game.
Puts you both on level footing because Steve didn't have time to prepare for this crazy game that he got thrown into.
The professor is over there just like the cat on the internet, just banging on the keyboard with BGG looking for scary games. Well, I've got to think of one on the fly.
Think of one fast to give him less time is my recommendation. He says it's on the fly. He's claiming on the fly. I believe it.
Well, as a guest on the show, you've given your 2 games. I don't think you have a third. Is that right? Or you do have another one?
No, I was told I was judging, so I did not.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh, wait, what's this? Oh, it's a spooky game of Harvest Dice.
Right. So tell us how scary the spooky game of Harvest Dice is.
Let's see. If you were harvesting pumpkins, I might be able to sell this. But in this game, you're harvesting carrots, lettuce, and tomatoes. We literally got these into the warehouse today, including the first time I've ever held one of these guys in my hand. That is one big pig meeple. That's Pip the pig meeple.
pip.
Only available if you order exclusively from Gray Fox Games, and that is enough shilling. That's my third game. I lose. Your turn, BJ.
No, I'm curious. Tell me a little bit more about Harvest.
You're gonna make me shill for this more. Okay. All right.
While I scroll on the list of BGG real quick.
It's a roll and write game. I think I talked about it last time I was on the show because I had one of the few advanced copies we had of this. I think it was one of like 3 we had in the U.S. Now we have a little more than that. There's your dice. So that's tomatoes, carrots, and lettuce. And you're going to roll them. And let me pull out a scorebook here. And it comes with 2 different score pads, one for the advanced game, one for the basic game. Good amount of sheets.
Okay.
And you're going to plant them. On your turn, you're either going to plant a die in one of these numbered sections, 1 through 6, or alternately, you're going to feed it to your pig, Pip the pig. And that'll give you a special power to modify the dice. You can possibly change the color of vegetable you're planting. Because once you say plant, let's say I planted a carrot right there. Any future carrots I grab have to be adjacent to that carrot. So
Okay.
all of those veggies in that patch have to be aligned. So yeah. That's Harvest Dice. It's got a pretty good reception over at Essen. And we're hoping it's one of our first family-friendly games in the line. So we'll see if it maybe expands the audience for our stuff.
I'm throwing this one up because I'm trying to get Steve on the Alex's bad side, and he's suggesting the McDonald's game is the scariest one. I just don't think that's going to work. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think that's what's
What was
going.
scary
Okay.
was how bad I beat you at the Envy game last time. That was scary.
You did. You whooped our butts on that one. Although Steve's won a couple of times since then, so he's getting pretty good at this game. Okay, I've got it. I've got the call.
Okay.
Bottom of the 9th. Big lead hit. The biggest cleanup hitter. This is going with the big one. No, I'm not going with that game. No, I'm not.
Okay, I thought it was literally your pick was bottom of the 9th.
All right. So when I was a kid, I learned to play the piano. I've been in a band before. I've written music. I've done some writing. One of the things I can't do that is very scary is draw. I am the world's worst artist. So when we're talking scary, we're talking a fake artist goes to New York. Halloween edition.
Oh, Steve, you can collect your prize.
No, that was a joke. But I'm going to go with Fate of the Elder Gods. Fate of the Elder Gods, you actually play as the investigator's nemesis, the cultists. And so if you got the right mood and the right lighting and you got the right sounds and the right people, you're reversing the Halloween tradition. Traditionally, Halloween is all about regular investigators going through Stranger Things. Don't go in that room. Don't go in that closet. Why are you going outside? Steve, don't go get your keys and go out to the car. You need to stick together with the group. Don't split the party. Why is Michael going a different way from the other guy, from Lucas? That's the traditional thing. Let's flip that on its head and go with a game where you actually play the bad guys and you're trying to bring in wrath and doom and gloom into the world against these puny little investigators that you're trying to beat. It's a fantastic game designed by Chris Kirkman and Richard Lonius and one other person I just can't remember off the top of my head. Fate of the Elder Gods. Off the fly, that's not a bad choice, and I'm going to stick with it. Although Fake Artist Goes to New York Halloween Edition would have been a good choice.
If that was what you were actually going with, I would have. Man. All right. Steve, the bar has been set. I looked up Fate of the Elder Gods because I had not actually heard of that all that much. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. I think that's generally a good pick. Current weight rating on BGG, by the way, weight of 3.2, overall rating of 7.4. Not a ton of ratings overall for that game, though. It's greater than. That's cool. Greater than games.
Yeah, greater than games.
Local St. Louis.
It's just out, and it's really hitting retail right now. I think it's a game. If you tried, I hate to predict these type of things, but I think you'd like it. I'm only going to tell you this: that the first play it's one of those games where the first play. It may not be all that you want it to be that first time because you got to learn how the cards work and you got to learn how all the different actions are. And once you get through that first game, then you're like, oh, now I understand how it works. You're going to want to play it again. So it's a game I'd like to see what you think of it. And you're right there in St. Louis. So, take it for a test run if you can get a copy of it. At your game groups, your game nights, is there a lot of different gaming or is it Jamie bring in the latest hot game from.
Oh,
Steam.
no. Yeah, no, Jamie doesn't impose stuff at all. It's mostly other folks bringing stuff in, and Jamie will play what he's interested in, and it's on the table. But he doesn't have a large collection himself. He has his collection is more my size. It's certainly a modest collection. So,
okay.
No. What?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
He's not forcing anyone to play any of his stuff. It's not, and I think I've talked about this on the episode. It's not like, hey, welcome to Scythe, the home of Scythe.
Scythe, the game group.
By the way, I made Scythe and Viticulture. Did you know that? I'm awesome as a game. No, he doesn't do that. So the only game I've played of Jamie's with Jamie is Charterstone. So there you go.
All right, so Steve's got one. I actually, I went alphabetical on my collection, and I actually skipped over this one. I looked at it, and it's an obvious choice. So I'm poking Steve a little bit with an obvious choice, but it's a good choice. He's coming strong. He says, "I'll go with Betrayal at House on the Hill. One person being possessed in the middle of the game could give big tension."
Okay, I'm going to look up something really fast. Here's the thing. I think I've played that game once.
Okay.
And it's a staple. I know it's a staple for a lot of people. Okay. I have not played either of these games. I would say they are equally spookily thematic, with maybe a slight Halloween-y edge to Betrayal, but not enough to decide this. Here's how I'm going to decide this. Not by coin flip, because that would be bad. But I'm going to look at one thing. Let me pull it up. I'm just going to double check and verify my decision's correct. Stand by, tabulating.
Wait, hold on. There might be something for you to think about. Something for you to think about.
What's that?
If it's close, should the guy who's played all these games get the benefit?
So I gave you the edge in the first round on the fact that your pick for a game was so much better than his pick for a game.
Okay.
I have not played either game, except for Betrayal once, I should say. I haven't played Fate of the Elder Gods. I can't speak to that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let the community judge and speak to that.
Oh.
And here's what's interesting. The average rating for Fate of the Elder Gods is higher. However, the overall rank for Betrayal, because of its longevity, is higher. It's ranked the 384th overall on BGG, which is pretty good for just about any game.
It is.
Fate of the Elder Gods is ranked 2,658, but a lot of that is the fact that it's a newer release and it just hasn't had enough ratings to climb those charts. So, in the spirit of annoying Sean and anyone else watching, no one wins.
Oh, what?
Nobody wins. It's a tie.
Okay, a tie. What a miserable Japanese baseball tie, but
okay. Well, Rook's gonna shave his beard.
Does he have a beard though?
I don't know. We were debating whether he's actually real or not. We haven't gotten good, solid evidence on that just yet.
Hopefully, we're gonna find out. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, another episode of Gumbo Live. We had a spooky Halloween edition. We talked about really spooky games like Fake Artist Goes to New York
and Queen Domino,
the McDonald's game. Complete lineup of Gray Fox games that are all spooky.
Yeah, I got in a lot of plugs this time. I'm getting better at this.
You are. I need a bell.
Yep.
So hopefully we can continue doing this last Tuesdays with Alex, and I'll have a little bell every time we hear Gray Fox that goes off.
You've said the company name more than I have, in fairness. Oh, Steve has a question. I just saw it pop up.
This one?
Here's a fun story. No. After that. Yeah, okay. That one. Yeah. There's a story associated with this. So the big thing for us at Essen was Harvest Dice, and that did really well. That we didn't sell out, but we had a lot of copies. We probably weren't going to sell out. It was unlikely, and we sold enough to be pretty happy with how that all went. Here's the problem.
And Steve's asking you whether Gray Fox had a good Essen or not. So go ahead.
So part of it is it's hard for me to judge because I wasn't there. I was back in the U.S. So on the sense that Harvest Dice seemed to have a successful launch, that's a good Essen in its own way. The one title you're releasing there succeeds. Here's the thing that has me question whether we had a good Essen or not. The Harvest Dice copies came from the factory, straight from the factory, made it into the country, no problem, no issues at all. We also sent booth signage, a bunch of copies of Champions of Midgard with the expansions. We can't sell Deception in Europe. We don't have the European rights to that. but a bunch of our other games, Seven Ronin and Order of the and all that. And it never made it to the booth.
Wait, which one? All that stuff?
All that stuff. Everything but Harvest Dice didn't make it to the booth.
Y'all were missing the stickers?
Our signs, our games, except for Harvest Dice, didn't make it through customs. Something with the paperwork, not sure exactly what went on there, but didn't clear German customs. It still hung up there. So folks who had Essen pre-orders are now waiting for us to ship within Germany, which we're going to try and do.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you have to balance that out. Harvest Dice, good launch, but not having any stuff at our booth, including signage, not the best look, especially when we have a hot expansion like Champions that we're pushing. So,
did you guys post any pictures of what the booth turned out to look like?
So no one took pictures and sent them to me. Otherwise, I might have tweeted them out with some funny comments. But
sure, they
didn't have their chief noisemaker there, so it didn't happen. Some people tweeted about Harvest Dice, which was nice. But yeah, it's all good, Steve. I mean, apparently this has happened to even Renegade and some other companies, so we're not the first person this is happening to. But yeah, it was not a good scene, not a good look.
There was some pre-Essen spiel talk chatter on Twitter. Apparently, the German customs had enforced a rule that people knew about. I didn't, of course, I'm not in the industry, but companies knew about it, but never enforced that. Anything with small parts or things like that, you got to put a little sticker on. And I saw pictures. I think it was Bezier, maybe another game company, purchasing whatever it took to get those stickers and frantically putting stickers on every single game so that they could make it through. Because they would not be able. But the difference was they got their games, they just couldn't sell them. You guys didn't have the product.
No, we didn't have the product at all.
Even get there. Wow,
that whole shit.
There's nothing you could do.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's not one I want any company to have to go through, especially when you're going through all the expense and the time to get there to Essen Spiel. And
part of the reason you're there, though, is looking for new games and picking up some titles. And we'll be playing some of those over the coming days and seeing if anything's worth bringing back to the States. And so it's not just a selling convention. There's other business reasons to be there. But yeah, that was a bummer. For sure, that was a bummer. Especially because Steve helped me name a couple of the bundles that we were selling there of Champions bundles.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, the Berserker bundle and the Bifrost bundle had some naming help. So thanks to Steve for that.
Oh, that's pretty cool. So that was if you buy something, you get something else in one package. Is what it was. Yeah,
it was a discounted price if you bought the base game, the exclusive Kickstarter box with both expansions. You also got the wood kit with it, the wood upgrade, both of the wood upgrade kits, Viking meeples, the game mats, and promo pack, all that.
Oh, that's awesome. I tell you, I know you're planning probably to go to Essen, and I'd love to go to the Spiel next year. Everybody that I've talked to about it on the show on Gumbo Live says if you think Gen Con is all about gaming, and it is, but there is a lot of buying in there. By far, the buying and the just shopping experience of Essen Spiel with so many games and so many game titles and these big extravagant booths that they have. Did you see the Portal booth?
No.
It looks like an actual game store. It's a small mini version of a game store. It's got metal entrances and lights and tables, and people are putting up digital projections. I mean, some of the Bezier booth, the Portal booth, a bunch of other booths that I saw they're miniature stores. Unlike Gen Con, which squeezes everybody into these little, relatively smaller booths to get as many people in there, Essen Spiel's hall is the convention center is so big with so many different halls, they can afford to give them much bigger booth space. So I'd like to go just to see that. Again, I like the inner workings, the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm curious to see how Essen Spiel does that a little different. Mm-hmm. And there's Steve's last comment there. Happy to help. Sorry they did not see the light of day. That is frustrating.
We'll sell those in some other form or fashion, I'm sure, Steve. So it didn't go totally to waste. It just happened to be at that con. We pre-sold a bunch, but didn't get to sell them at Essen like we wanted to.
Thanks to our special guest, Alex Goldsmith, Chief Noisemaker at Gray Fox Games, and the Dukes of Dice for coming in tonight. Hey, Webslinger, how can they reach you on social media? Is it at Spidey Sense?
At SpideySense.alex.com. It's weird. They don't normally allow that for Twitter handles, but they did for me. It was pretty cool.
Handle.
Yeah, it was. It was an odd one. No, I'm my personal account is at AlexG_human. The Dukes of Dice account is at Dukes of Dice, and the Gray Fox Games account, which I manage, is at Gray Fox Games. So
yeah, not Alex Goldsmith, because that guy doesn't look anything like you.
No, of course not.
Have you seen there is a guy at Alex Goldsmith on Twitter?
I'm sure there is. I'm rarely the first to these things. I did get on Gmail. I'm not going to say my email address on here. What am I doing? You can reach me at alex@grayfoxgames.com too.
And your address, what apartment number is that again?
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. So Steve says, always good seeing you guys. I do exist. We haven't seen him yet at a convention.
Hey, no evidence.
At his place, so there's no evidence. What do they always say? No pics or it didn't happen. So, hey, hey, Alex, good luck with the new Kickstarter Bushido.
Thank you, sir.
November 21st, if I remember right.
Sounds right. Yeah.
And of course, the bi-weekly podcast, keep putting out the great content for everybody. Dukes of Dice every other week. Sean and Alex are putting out that great podcast. I'll see you hopefully at the end of November if we can do this again.
That's the schedule. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, board gamers. I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo with another Board Game Gumbo live. You can always hit me at Board Game Gumbo on Twitter. You can post some comments on the feed below and let us know. And until next time, Alex, laissez le bon temps rouler.
Peace out.
Peace out, man.